Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Birney are kicking off the 50-cent late pick 4 at Sunland Park on Sunday with race number 9, the $200,000 Sunland Park Oaks. This race for 3-year-old fillies, and it's a Derby prep race, which means you want to take advantage of the Derby points bonus, the first post bonus on DRF bets. Bet $25 to win on any one horse in race number 1 at Sunland on Sunday. You get a $10 bonus, win or lose. More details, drf.com/preps. Let's meet the field for the Sunland Park Oaks. There is a big scratch to announce. The morning line favorite, the number 9 Bellafina, arguably the current best 3-year-old filly in the country, will scratch out of this race and run at Santa Anita. That leaves the number 7 Chasing Yesterday, Matt, as likely an overwhelming favorite. Not only is she already a Grade 1 stakes winner, she's the younger half-sister to the great American Pharaoh, and she's trained by some guy named Baffert.
Who knows a thing or two about winning races at Sunland Park. You're right. I mean, when you take Bellafina out of this race on paper, Chasing Yesterday just lays over the field. I mean, you could make the argument that she should be somewhere in the 1 to 5 range when it's all said and done. From a running style standpoint, I love that she has that sort of rating ability, that she doesn't have to go out to the lead. Her Starlet, I thought, was just fine. Flattered a little bit by the performance from Anaya Al-Rab when she came back early on as a 3-year-old. I hate to say this, but I need to find another horse that really intrigues me, that I think could jump up tremendously. But I mean, if Chasing Yesterday comes back and moves forward even slightly, I think she just lays over this field.
Chasing Yesterday is obviously not as brilliant as American Pharaoh. That was an unfair comparison from day one after she won her debut by open lengths. And I like how Baffert sort of took a step back after this horse ran in the spin away and was off the board as the favorite. Got her confidence up, running her in a couple of sprints, gradually stretched her out in distance, and she came widest and fastest to win the Starlet, as you mentioned, over a nice horse in Anaya Al-Rab. I don't think she needs to come from last to win. Let's see where Timeform US has her in the early portion of the race. And again, with the scratch of the 9 Bellafina, this Timeform US pace projector will be updated once scratches become official, and we see that Chasing Yesterday will be then 4th behind the number 3 Figure. Let's talk a little bit about Figure, who ran 5th in the Island Fashion Stakes last time out. Her first start around 2 turns. To be perfectly honest with you, I think she needs a shorter distance. She's a half to Ben's Duchess, who is a nice closing sprinter in Southern California.
Yeah, and I also question just overall her talent. I mean, coming out of that Island Fashion, you look at some of the other girls that finished ahead of her, you couple that with the additional distance, which probably doesn't work to her advantage, hard for me to love her.
I wonder if the 1 Victim of Love will be aggressively ridden coming out of the gate, taking advantage of the inside post position. With the scratch of Bellafina, we have Victim of Love sitting 2nd on the pace projector, and this horse beat 4 of these common foes when winning the local prep, the Island Fashion. She has now won 3 in a row, and she has a really regal pedigree. She's a full sister to Benner Island, who is a graded stakes winning sprinter. She's a half to High North, a multiple stakes winner going long, and the Dam was a Grade 2 stakes winner going a mile. So while this horse has yet to put together those brilliant Buyer's speed figures, she's got that pedigree, potential, and good tactical speed to get the jump on the favorite.
And she's a winner. She likes to go out there and win races, and that's something that shouldn't go overlooked when you go through and handicap things. I recognize technically she's 2 of 4, but she's crossed the wire first 3 times. I like everything about her, but you brought up kind of I don't want to call it the elephant in the room, but I just look at it and go, as nice as you are and as impressed as I've been basically in all of her 2-turn races, when is the fast one going to come? And if you're going to go and take the top off of Chasing Yesterday, it just makes me look at it and go, you're going to have to really improve.
The runner-up and beaten favorite in the Island Fashion is the number 5, Back Flash. Must be noted that both of the lifetime wins came on turf. Steve Asmussen presses on, though, in this rich race with Kentucky Oaks points on the line. We have a positive formulator fact for Back Flash. Over the past 5 years, with 3-year-old dirt routers going 3rd off the layoff in non-graded stakes, Asmussen wins at a 30% clip. I thought this horse ran fine in the Island Fashion. The Buyers, though, are very light, and again, both wins have come on turf.
A term that you and I like to use, inoffensive. I wasn't blown away by it. It wasn't a terrible effort. It was fine enough. The problem is fine enough, I don't think, is good enough to win here on Sunday.
Perhaps we can expect some improvement from the number 6, KP Slickum, who finished 3rd in the Island Fashion Stakes. In her 2 starts this year, she has paired up Buyer tops. She is now adding blinkers for the first time, and she's another with a nice pedigree. The dam was a stakes-winning sprinter. This filly is a half to the 5-time stakes-winning turf runner Queen Caroline, as well as to the Grade 3 placed dirt sprinter Queen Tuta. KP Slickum, maybe with the blinkers, maybe she gets involved early.
Yeah, I would imagine her being a little bit more forwardly placed. The concern I have with a horse like KP Slickum, here I am sitting talking about Victim of Love, where she's actually crossed the wire 3 times, although she's only technically won twice. KP Slickum's never actually crossed the wire first, and usually for me, if you're going to do that, you're going to have to do that against a little bit lesser. The problem is it's one of those darned if you do situations. Sure, the connections, I'm sure, were thrilled that they got first purse money, but boy, now you're stuck with a horse that can't run in the maiden rank. She still hasn't crossed the wire first.
The number 2, Parade of Roses, won a stakes race earlier this Sunland meet sprinting, tried the Island Fashion, picked up a couple of tired horses in the lane. Watching her run, looking at her pedigree, the dam being a multiple stakes winning sprinter, I wonder if ultimately she'll be at her best as a late running sprinter, and after 9 starts, she's kind of exposed already.
Haven't seen much improvement from a numbers standpoint. I agree with you about the pedigree and the potential for distance. I think ultimately she's better shorter.
Peace Out, Your Honor was claimed for $25,000 in November, has not won since, is wheeling back on 8 days rest. This is a tough spot.
Tough spot stretching out in distance. We'll find out what we get.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the Sunland Park Oaks. Chasing yesterday, obviously the horse to beat, way the most likely winner. It would be my only A in any kind of multiple race wager, like the 50-cent pick 4. But I am a little bit intrigued in the 8 Enlisting. We are catching Chasing yesterday off a little bit of a layoff, however. Now, I know Enlisting only beat $50,000 maiden claimers last time out. I know it was an off-the-turf race run over a good racetrack. Boy, she was impressive. She won by almost 15 lengths that day, and she's got a little bit of pedigree. She's by the Candy Ride, who they can do anything, it seems. The dam was a half to a Grade 1 stakes winner on Synth named Cry and Catch Me. Enlisting probably not as good as Chasing yesterday, but I'm really curious to see how she goes first time for these new connections.
To me, it feels like a horse like this, she is kind of the X factor in a race like this, where if someone's going to take a giant step forward, why wouldn't it be a filly like this, going out for new connections, good connections, and on the heels of just an absolutely smashing win, the only time that she's been on the main track. I think you're going to need a giant step forward in order to beat a horse like Chasing yesterday, but if someone's going to do it, why not this filly?
Give me numbers.
Again, Captain Obvious over here, 7-1, 8-5. I just kind of feel like Pharaoh's little sister's too good.
I'm going 8, 7, 1, and 6, with the 7 being the main play in the 50-cent pick 4, and my top pick, perhaps a win bet at double-digit odds and a deep backup in the pick 4. Race number 9 at Sunland is at 1 mile and a 16th. Kentucky Oaks points are on the line. You can bet this race with a DRF Bets account, but you also want to bet the first race at Sunland on Sunday because you can take advantage of that first post bonus on the preps. Bet $25 to win on one horse in race number 1 at Sunland on Sunday. Get a $10 bonus, win or lose. Learn more at drf.com/preps. Approximate post time for the Oaks. The Sunland Park Oaks, 427 Mountain. Best of luck.